Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Brooke Berlin, and I'm one of the team members of TransAfrica, which is a fantastic DMC operating in West Africa. And I have with us today Carlotta Zanzotera, who works with the TransAfrica team. She has a degree in philosophy and anthropology. She's absolutely an Africa expert. She's been traveling throughout the continent since she was 6. We did a separate webinar that focuses on Benin, Togo, and Ghana, and I'll include that in the follow-up, along with my trip report from those countries, and then going down to Sao Tome and Principe, which is the absolute perfect extension to a West Africa adventure. And that's why we asked Philippe and Claudia to join us today to tell you more. So I'm really excited for you to learn about their offering. And of course, I want to highlight Sundy Praia specifically because it is a National Geographic Unique Lodge alongside Swalu that I work with in South Africa, and also a member of the Long Run alongside Cotter's 1920s that I work with in Kenya. So Philippe Moreau is the founder of PM Hospitality. He received his hotel management degree in Switzerland, and he has 5-star management experience in Europe, South America, Asia, and most recently now Africa. He is responsible for the tourism development for HBD Principe, and he's been doing that for the past 10 years. Very much believes that we can harness the power of tourism in order to improve the livelihood of local communities while protecting the natural environment by acting and traveling in a much more sustainable way. And with that, he's very active with the National Geographic Unique Lodges, and that's where we first met. And then Claudia Martins is the HBD Group Sales Manager. She has a degree in tourism and more than 20 years of experience. She's worked in both the public and the private sector. For the past decade, she's been doing product and contracting and has traveled all around the world looking for new business opportunities, destinations, and properties. And that's how she came to discover HBD and then absolutely just fell in love. And I think this is really sweet. Her motto is be humble, work hard, and never give up. And I could not agree with that more. So with that, I am going to hand you over to Philippe and Claudia, and then Carlotta and I will be here to help answer questions as well as they come up in combination of how we can work together on West Africa. Over to you, Philippe.
Thank you very much, Brooke. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. We're very happy to be here. As you mentioned, we are part of National Geographic Unique Lodges of the world. We just recently as well joined Virtuoso, which will be great for the North American market. We are very proud to be associated as well with the Long Run. They were actually supposed to have the annual meeting in Principe in September, which unfortunately has been cancelled, but it's been just postponed to next year. We are partnering as well with Classic Portfolio with Suzanne, Kimi, and Cara, which I think you know very well, and they've been a great supporter of the destination. And last but not least, we are very proud to be part of TransAfrica, and thank you, Brooke, for giving us that opportunity to present Sao Tome and Principe. As you know, the smallest or the second smallest country in Africa after Seychelles, and a former Portuguese colony, which gained its independence after the Portuguese Revolution in 1975. And before the revolution, Sao Tome and Principe was one of the biggest cacao exporter. And we are very happy as well to be part of that revival of this, this new, we really trying to reintroduce the chocolate because it's as well known as the chocolate islands, Sao Tome and Principe. And some experts believe that you can find the best chocolate in the world in Sao Tome and Principe. So we will highlight a few of this during that presentation. And I hope that you enjoy what we're going to show you today. Claudia will tell you a little bit more about the location.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Thank you, Philippe and Brooke. So let's start. On this first slide, I would like to show you the location of Sao Tome and Principe. And as you can see, Sao Tome and Principe is located in West Africa, near the equator, from the 250 kilometers away from the coast in the Atlantic Ocean in the Gulf of Guinea. The international airport is located in the main island, Sao Tome. To go from Sao Tome to Principe Island, we need to take a 35-minute flight in a 35-seat aircraft. We can book these flights for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Then we land at the tiny island of Principe. The clients can also land directly into Principe Island if they travel with a private plane, for example. Here on this map, you can see also the location, the previous one, Philippe, if you don't mind. On this map, you can see also the location of our 4 properties there. We have O'Malley in the main island in São Tomé, and we have Bombom, Roça Sundy, and Praia Sundy in Principe Island, the small island. We'll see some more details about the properties ahead. Okay. In here, we have some of the airlines that are flying to São Tomé. If you have some clients from Europe, for example, we have flights with TEP and STP Airways from Lisbon. From Africa, we have TAG from Luanda. TAG also have flights from South Africa, for example, and from Namibia. So if you have any clients interested about doing a combined package with these kind of destinations, TAG can work. From Accra in Ghana, we have TEP flights, but in fact, this TEP flight from Ghana to São Tomé is the same flight, is the same TEP flight from Lisbon to São Tomé, because TAP stops 45 minutes in Accra for refuel. Accra is indeed a great hub, an important hub in Africa. All the major airlines are there, like Emirates, Qatar, Ethiopian Airlines. So for example, for clients coming from United States, Accra can be an option. We have like Delta Airlines, American Airlines, they have direct flights from United States to Accra. Then the clients have to take the TAP flight from Accra to São Tomé. We have also flights from Gabon with AfriJet, and also from Malabo with Saba Airlines. Normally, the international flights will arrive in São Tomé, the main island, in the evening, in the afternoon. So the clients have to stay, have to do an overnight in São Tomé, and they will sleep in O'Malley, of course, and they will proceed to Principe on the following morning. The domestic flight will depart from São Tomé to Principe around 9 o'clock in the afternoon. So as you can see, these 2 volcanic islands are not very easy to get there. They are a very well kept secret, a very safe destination. They are also known as the Galapagos of Africa. The weather is warm, there is no natural disaster there. This is an authentic destination, beautiful landscapes, genuine people, and this is truly a new destination to discover. And now, Philippe, he will share with you some more details about the projects that we have there.
So just to focus a little bit on the island of Principe. So as Claudia said, 35-minute hop from São Tomé. On this map here, you can see that it's a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. It's been UNESCO Biosphere Reserve since 2012. And the south part of the island, this is where you've got the national park where you can't build anything, no construction is allowed. And the north side of the island, you can see where most of the tourism offer is held. In the middle, you've got Sant Antonio, which is technically the smallest capital in the world. You can check it on the Guinness Book of Records. So it's quite an amusing little story here. And we are very happy that the government as well has decided to embrace responsible tourism as a positioning, because the fact that they wanted to have a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve there was really a sign that they want to protect the island. They want to make sure that the development is done in a real sustainable way. So we totally embrace this positioning. Actually, when we started, we first acquired Bombom in 2010. And just after acquiring Bombom, we decided to go through a certification process, and we went through we decided to start certifying our 2 properties, Bombom and O'Malley, and through Biosphere Reserve. And these 2 hotels were the first hotel in Africa to actually receive the Biosphere Tourism Responsible certificate, which was very, it was a great sign, both from the regional government and from ourselves. Bombom has a different outlook now. It's an iconic hotel, and Claudia will tell you more about it later on. Right now, we reopened Bombom. We opened maybe 6 weeks ago as an isolation center. the idea behind this, and that was the idea of the regional government. You can see the president just on the right there, Tose Cassandra, who's the president of the island. He wanted, as he said, I'm using his words, he wanted to protect the library of Principe. And when he's saying protect the library of Principe, it's all the storytellers, the artists, the natural healers, and they're all staying here. When I say all, they're not a lot. We only have 19 rooms there, and we got a full occupancy with these people. But he really wanted to protect these people so they don't get COVID, and all the stories could carry on. So we totally embraced this project, and since the 20th of May, Bombo is an isolation center, and we're very proud of that. We believe that community empowerment can only be achieved by comprehensive training, and because of that, we decided to do a dedicated training program for all of our hotel staff. This is a picture when they're celebrating and when they finished their training course. It was a 9-month training course, about 4,000 hours, ranging from front office to F&B service, kitchen and pastry and housekeeping. And that day was just amazing. Is these people who before we were there, most of the people didn't know what a hotel was, didn't know what a 5-star hotel was. And during this course and during this training, they really embraced this empowerment and really understood what hospitality was all about. So we are very proud to have these people working with us. It's a real joy, and they really have managed to create a unique experience in the hospitality industry in Saint-Tropez and Principe. We, as mentioned earlier, we are part of the Long Run. Long Run has a great framework which includes conservation, community, culture, and commerce. We use it in our strategic planning, and we've been a Long Run for now a year, and hopefully next year, most of the people, and I hope that Brooke and Carlotta, you'll be able to join that annual meeting, because it's a great time for strategic thinking and sustainability. So I hope that next year you'll be able to join when we finally host it. So I said earlier on, Principe is a biosphere reserve, and we work very closely with a local NGO called Fundação Príncipe, which is Príncipe Foundation. And Príncipe Foundation do anything from beekeeping to turtle protection program. We have a very close relationship with them. With one of the project that we like to speak about is this project, which is the recycle project of jewelry. And I think that, Brooke, I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, if this what you're wearing there is from Ghana, because as you know, these ladies, Bella on the right-hand side is the leader of that group. She trained in Ghana, and right now, so they're doing these amazing jewelries that you can buy in our hotels and at the airports as well. I don't know if you have got a little comment on that, because you know the people who trained them, I think.
I do, yeah, I'll jump in very quickly. So yes, Sidi is one of the absolute top glass bead designers, and he's based in Ghana, and I do know him personally. I've been able to meet with him in Ghana when, again, I was traveling with TransAfrica, and they can help with things like the international bead market that happens there. And so Sidi has traveled all over Africa teaching women how to do that. And so yeah, I've got a beautiful set of earrings from someone who leads up that project in Zambia and Kenya as well. I love that connection.
Yeah, and this what they've done is so incredible that they even won the Yves Rocher prize, and they won like 10,000 euros. It was the best example in Africa for using sustainable resources, and it was won in Principe. So an incredible project that we're very proud of, and we're supporting it a lot. Another project that we did was the water and recycle project, because we identified 2 big problems. First, the plastic, obviously, a lot of plastic on the island, whether it's plastic that is there or landing on the shores, and the lack of purified water. So by creating this project, we managed to extract the plastic from the island and to give purified water to the local population. So we started that project in 2014 under the UNESCO and Man of Biosphere program. We even got a little funding from them. And just to give you an example, the first day of the campaign, just one day, we collected 27,000 plastic bottles. So we knew that project was much bigger than we all anticipated. And after it was showcased in international conferences, we won some international prizes, or environmental prize called Aleo in Spain. And just as a conclusion, the facts and the figures from this project is that we managed to install 15 purification water fountains around Principe to give access to purified water. We distributed 13,500 biosphere bottle, which with that bottle you could have access to these purified these water fountains. And finally, we collected just short of 900,000 plastic bottles in Principe. I mean, if you think about Principe, which is a very small island, it's about 136 square kilometers. Retrieving nearly 900,000 plastic bottle is quite an achievement. So another project that we're very proud of. This is how Principe is, and this is how we'd like to see Principe in the future. When we started to develop our projects on this island, the brief from our founder was very simple. He said, I don't want to see anything from the sea, and I don't want to see anything from the sky. So we had to develop our projects according to this very straight and particular strategy. One example or another example is the turtle protection program. This is the little museum on Pagran, which is where we have the turtle project. This is Alton, the small guy. He's the most important guy there. Actually, he's the head of the team. There are about 15 people protecting this beach. I mean, I think that at the beginning they had about 300 nests per year, and after it grew to 800, 1,000, 1,200, I think it was the best year we had. So it's a great project that we're really supporting, because most of the money that goes into the excursion that our guests pay revert back to that conservation project. So we've got three kinds of turtles. There's the green turtle, there's the hawksbill, and there's the amazing leatherback, which is this very big turtle, which is it's like a mini truck, about 500 kilos. So if you're lucky, you can. It's very rare to see them, but I was lucky enough actually to see one evening, and it's literally like a minivan, getting out of the sea. It's something quite amazing. Just a little picture, the kingfisher, which has got these amazing colors. You see them so often, they come and drink in the pool or in the river. They are absolutely beautiful, and they're really iconic in Principe. Another beautiful view, that's probably one of my favorite view. I think you went there, Brooke. It's Rossa Sundy, and you've got the most wonderful sunset there. On the other side, you've got Needle Bay there, which is absolutely beautiful. And just before handing the floor to Claudia, we do a lot of conservation work, and environmental protection. So this is an example. We did a massive beach cleaning in Tome one year. I think we retrieved 4 tons of waste on that specific beach just in front of the Omali. We do that on a regular basis in Principe, because we really believe that we need to show, we can't only talk the talk, we need to walk the talk and be very active in the environmental protection, because we really want to keep Principe pristine as it is now. So Claudia will run you through our beautiful properties, and I'll talk to you just a little bit later on.
Yeah, so let's start with Sundy Praia Lodge. That is the property that you have in this photo. Sundy Praia Lodge is our 5-star property. It's located 20 minutes away from Principe Island Airport, and it has 15 villas only. As you can see in this photo and in the next one, the hotel and the rooms are completely merged with the surrounding landscape. The hotel is right in the middle of the forest, in front of the ocean, right in the beachfront. We have 3 different types of villas. We have 8 villas with 1 bedroom. We have 5 villas with two bedrooms, and we have 2 villas with 3 rooms and private pool. Philippe, if you can go back a bit just to show them a bit more detailed the private pool villa. That is this photo in here. On the next slide, we have the 3 different kinds of villas. So on top, we have the 3-room villas, as I told you before. The photo on the left, we have the 2-bedroom villa, and on the right, we have the 1-room villa. As you can see, on the 3-bedroom villa and 2-bedroom villa, the rooms are not interconnected. So these villas are the perfect spot for families or friends traveling together. They can spend all day together around in the outdoor area. but in the evening, each one will have a separate room for privacy.
I'll just do a little, we can't say, but we had royalty staying there. And it was a real, what you call the travel bubble effect. They were staying there. They each had, two ladies, each had their tent. They would meet in the middle for dining and wine and then cocktails and wine. But it's the perfect place as well for these kind of people who want absolute, serenity and exclusivity. Carry on, Claudia.
So the next slide, we have the interior of one of our villas. The decoration that you are seeing there is the same in all villas. The villas, as you can see, are quite big. The decor is a mix of local and international pieces. We have a nice sitting area, big windows, a big and comfortable bed. We have separate shower and toilet. We have high-speed internet, of course. We have a maxi bar. We have a big tub near the window. We have the safe, we have TV, everything that the clients will need, I forgot to mention one important thing on the last slide. On the pool villas, the next year rates will include the butler service, as well exclusive guides and car, one full day tour, laundry service, and a 50 minutes massage to each guest, okay? Our rates will start in half-board basis, and we always offer to all our guests and to all our rooms free of charge the airport transfers, the welcome drink, the afternoon tea at the pool bar, and of course the stand-up paddle and snorkeling material. This is completely free of charge, okay? So on the next slide, we have the reception area. As you can see, it's a very open place with natural materials. And of course, the location is, again, right in the middle of the nature. This is our infinity pool with the beach right in front, and with a very relaxed atmosphere. And the only company that we have there is some birds singing along. Nobody else is there. It's very private and relaxing. This is our pool bar, where the guests can try one of our cocktails there, or can have a light meal for lunch. Around 4 p.m. we're serving here the afternoon tea, coffee, some sandwich, some cookies, and we have the beach right in front, the beach and the swimming pool right in front of the pool bar. Okay.
I'll tell you a little bit about the restaurant here. It's a fish-shaped restaurant, and it's like a gastronomic cathedral. It was all made in bamboo, designed by Didier Lefort, which is the architect there in the middle there. And because this design was just so incredible, we won the Prix Versailles for the most sustainable construction for hotels in 2019. So you can see him there with both his daughter and his son, and Christelle, his architect. We were very happy to receive this prize, and all due to his very, imaginative and creativity. He was thinking about, he wanted to do something very organic, very natural. And when we built this restaurant, we wanted to make sure that all the amazing trees which were around, we won't cut them. So that's why it's got a very organic shape, so that it can preserve all the big trees that we have around.
And this is the beach, one of the beaches there in the hotel. And as you can see, it's very crowded all day long, and the color of the ocean is something amazing. So Sundy Praia Lodge, as you can see, is the perfect place for the guests that are looking for a different property, that are looking for privacy, that want to disconnect from the rest of the world and reconnect with themselves. With nature and the simple things of life. It's a very different property and very relaxing.
So we're going to dive into Bonbon.
Yeah, let's know a bit more about Bonbon. Bonbon was our first hotel in Principe Island. Is a beachfront property, as you can see, and we have only 19 bungalows. We have pool bungalows, we have garden, sea, and beachfront bungalows. In fact, these little dots that you are seeing there in the middle of the palm trees are indeed the bungalows. So they are very discreet. Bonbon location is very unique. We have two beaches, one for the sunset, another for the sunrise, and we have the very calm ocean most of the times. In the end of the bridge, that if you want, Philippe, if you can put the previous slide, please. In the end of this little bridge, we're in a tiny island. We have our main restaurant and bar. And I have to confess that it is a very special moment to cross this bridge in the evening and to have the stars over our heads and to have the ocean below our feet is quite magic indeed. And we have also a small spa there, we have a swimming pool, we have gym, we have a certified pet dive center. It's a very special place.
Probably one of the best places in the world to do
Yeah.
some stargazing, and we'll tell you a bit more about that later on. But if you walk on that bridge at nighttime and you just stop in the middle and just start to stargaze, it's quite amazing. Let's talk about Rossa a little bit.
Let's talk just 2 minutes about the room.
Oop.
Just to explain the other slide, please. This is a beachfront bungalow, as you can see. So you have the ocean right on the door. So you can go for a swim before breakfast and go to bed, listen to the ocean. So it's a very nice place. Now let's proceed to Rossa. So this is Rossa Sundy. Rossa Sundy is the only property in Principe that is not on beachfront, okay? It was an original plantation house that we have completely restored. And this is an historic property that allows us to travel back in time with all the comforts. We have 15 rooms there, divided in two buildings, the colonial house, that is this one that we are seeing in here, and we have the plantation house. This is a building right besides this one, okay? So Rossa Sundy is the perfect place for the guests that want to have the real feeling of the island, you know. One of the beauties of this place is that we still have the local community living there near the hotel, you know, doing their normal day-to-day life, cooking their meals outside their houses, washing their clothes. The kids are going to school, playing football with the guests sometimes. So it's the real experience of the Rossa of the island. So it's something the guests cannot miss. This is one of our rooms. All the rooms are different. As you can see, they are very colonial with high ceilings, big windows, big beds. And in the end, you will just listening to the chickens singing around and the kids playing around. It's a very relaxed atmosphere there in Rossa. It's a very special place. This is the main entrance at the colonial house, where the reception, the restaurants, and 6 rooms are located. And this is just a detail, but it's something that I truly like. The tiles in here are still the original ones, and some of the furniture is over 100 years old. So it's like traveling in time. The next slide, we have the bar for cocktails or for some wine. And in here we have a nice view from Rossa to the ocean.
There's an amazing walk to do. I don't know, Brooke, if you did that, you can walk from Rossa all the way to Sundy Praia. It takes you about 30, 35 minutes, and it's in the jungle beneath the canopy. It's absolutely lovely.
We did lots of birds from Praia, but because of timing and trying to see so much on the island and all of the properties, we did not do that walk, but I heard about it, and so next time.
And at Rossa Sundy, we also have a chocolate factory. This is one of our most recent projects. We opened the chocolate factory in August last year. And of course, in here, the guests can learn about all the process of transforming cocoa into chocolate. And of course, they can have a chocolate tasting. That is very important.
And on the back of that, we decided to do a tropical chocolate safari. So we invited Joanne Harris, who's the writer of Chocolat. I don't know if you read that book or if you saw the movie. You probably saw the movie with Johnny Depp and Juliette Binoche. And it was wonderful having her in Santo Domingo and Principe. First, because for her, it was a real discovery journey, even if she's the chocolate expert and she wrote Chocolat, but she had never held a cacao pod in her hand, So for her, it was amazing. She absolutely loved it. And you can see there are a few pictures where she was, book signing, and after they had some tasting with the chocolatier there from UK there as well, who was with us. They had on top right, you've got Claudio Corallo, who's the #1 producer of chocolate. He's got this Corallo chocolate, which some experts say is the best in the world. So it was a whole week around chocolate, and it was absolutely fantastic. She definitely wants to come back and do another edition of the tropical chocolate safari. And another interesting celebration we had, which was celebrating 100 years of Eddington. Eddington is a scientist. He's called Arthur Eddington, and he's the one who proven the theory of relativity of Albert Einstein, and it was proven in Principe 100 years ago in 1990, and we celebrated that date last year in May. So you can see the president of Portugal there, Marcelo Rebelo, with both presidents of Santo Domingo and Principe, the moment of celebrating and sealing that date. So it was quite a amazing celebration, and Principe was in the center of the world. We had everybody connecting via satellite on that day, scientists from all around the world. It was a real incredible moment, and for the scientist community, it was really fantastic, great moment.
And this is Rosa Paciencia. This is our organic farm there in Principe Island. We produce all kind of natural ingredients in here, like vanilla, pepper, some vegetables for the restaurants in the hotels. And we try to reduce the imported goods to the minimum. So we also make our own soaps, our own creams for the spa, our own jams, our own the toiletries that we put in the hotels. Everything is made there with natural and organic ingredients. And of course, the experience. We have lots of nice things to do there. We offer many unique experiences. We have diving, we have the turtles, as Philippe said before, we have the whales from June to August, we have bird watching, we have boat tours, we have waterfalls, we have cooking workshops, we have barbecues, picnics in the beach, we have hikes in the Biosphere Reserve. So lots of things to do. People never get bored there.
So we're just going to hop quickly to Saint-Thomé, talk about the O'Malley, which is the hotel that we're going to reopen on the 1st of August.
Yeah, we have O'Malley. O'Malley is located in the main island in Saint-Thomé. O'Malley is located 3 minutes away from the airport, so it's very convenient when we arrive from the international flight. We are 3 minutes away from our hotel. And we have only 30 rooms. In here, you can see the swimming pool and the pool bar, and all the rooms are located around the swimming pool in the gardens. O'Malley have big gardens, the palm trees, and it's like an oasis in the middle of the city. This is one of our rooms there at O'Malley. This is in fact one of a family room that is the perfect for a couple traveling with 2 kids, because we have like 2 rooms. So it's the perfect place for a family. The decoration is the same in all the rooms, only the size and will change. And I have to share with you that O'Malley have the best chocolate mousse in the entire world. I hope my mother don't hear me saying this, but it's true. So chocolate mousse is indeed a very strong reason for you to pack and travel to these magic islands. It's a very strong reason. And this is Lagoa Azul, one of my favorite places there in São Tomé. And that's it.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Carlota.
Amazing. Thank you both very much. We will definitely open up for Q&A for people that have any. And while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, I'll just say a couple of things that came to mind when the presentation was going on. Many of you who have joined us before know how much I love West African music, and there's amazing music in West Africa. I've been able to hear some in Accra, in Dakar, and when I was on the islands of Sao Tome and Principe, there's a group called Kalima, and it's these two brothers that are from Sao Tome and Principe. They now live in Portugal, but their music is very influenced by Cape Verde, and when I was at the property, I was actually there for the 1-year anniversary, and so they brought in musicians from the island, and we were listening to music by the pool, and then I got to meet the group. And so there's a really nice kind of musical theme that carries on from West Africa through to the islands as well. And then the other thing, Philippe, that you mentioned that I was really happy about was saying that Omali was going to open on August 1st. So TransAfrica recently posted on their Facebook page, and then also sent me the details, Carlotta has that as well, of all of the different countries that are going to be opening. So airlift to West Africa is opening. It is going to be possible to get there, the second half of this year. So keep that in mind, because the properties are opening, as Philippe said, the air is opening, as TransAfrica has let me know. And again, it's just, the combination of exploring the culture, the amazing diversity of West Africa, and then finishing up on these islands is the absolute, just for me, best itinerary. And I love that.
Just to be super precise, the borders, authorities of the countries in West Africa are still discussing about the actual date of reopening the borders. So I don't want to say for sure on the 1st of August they will be open, but they are talking about it, and those are the dates that they proposed, but they are still discussing about it.
Excellent. I think on the 1st of August, I heard that Carlotta and Claudia were going to be having drinks in Lisbon.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You can
actually, the coming week. We're not going to wait for long.
Our teams work very closely together, so I'm glad that they're going to spend some time. Okay, so first question, can you talk about the seasons, the best time of year to visit, and then also within the context of the snorkeling experience?
Claudia, best season?
Well, indeed, all the seasons are good to go to São Tomé, because the country is located right in the equator line. So we have during all the year a very warm time there, So of course, maybe if I have to tell you, we have maybe March or mid-March, mid-April, we have a bit more of rain. But nowadays it's a bit unpredictable to say, So people can come and enjoy São Tomé and Principe during all year, and we'll have lots of things for the people to do and to enjoy the island. So no worries, they can come every time.
And regarding snorkeling
is
diving,
the same, Snorkeling, maybe the water will have some more visibility around December until June. This is the best season also for diving. But the ocean is very calm, so you can do snorkeling around all the year.
And just to complete, we got a PADI diving center at Bombom, so you can use that facility as well.
Perfect. So that answered actually a couple of questions that have been coming in specific about then scuba. So yes, there is scuba. The PADI is at Bombom. And what about the water temperature? And then can you explain a little bit more about what the diving is actually like?
So water temperature, I think it doesn't go below 23 or 24 degrees, you know, and goes up to, I would say, 28. I'm not a diver, but what I hear is that the diving experience is incredible, because you see really, and it's very safe first, number one, and you know, nothing can eat you there, and but there is really big fish, so you see very big garoupa there, you
Snappers,
see snappers,
barracuda,
yeah, barracuda,
sailfish, for example, and seahorses also. They are quite nice little ones.
wahoo as well, so very rich, you know, in terms of variety. And there's different spots very close to Bombon. It takes like, you know, 5-10 minutes to go to a diving spot, so you really there very, very quickly.
Are the islands a year-round destination, and what would you say is the best time of year to visit? And then specifically also, can you speak about requirements for entry, cost per person, per day, and then, you know, again, specifically like entry requirements?
Okay, so it's very easy to get there. People from Europe, from United States, from Canada, they don't need visa. They just can show up. The rest of the people have to apply online and then pay 20 euros in the airport in the arrival. But that's it. It's quite easy. We don't have any specific vaccination that are mandatory. The clients that have visited other African countries 3 months before traveling to São Tomé, they have to present the yellow fever certificate, but that's it.
And it's a 15-day tourist visa.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
So a question about why only one night on São Tomé? Isn't there more to see and do? Since that's the larger of the two islands, how many nights would you recommend as a total stay? If you want to address that, and then I can give my experience.
Well, I can give you my feeling. I think like 10 nights, 11 days is the best, you know. Of course, the guests can stay more time in São Tomé, because São Tomé have nice spots also. But our focus is Principe, you know. Principe is the real gem there. So of course, we always suggest clients to stay a bit more time in Principe Island. But at least 1 week. Less than 1 week, it's not enough.
And my experience, and please, you know, correct me if it's wrong because it's been a couple of years, but the flights ran on a very specific schedule, kind of like many of us might be used to. For instance, I believe the flight schedule to get to, for instance, Singida Pamushana in Zimbabwe from Johannesburg, you know, you have to go for 3 nights or 4 nights. So my experience was the same, where we spent maybe about, you know, 10 to 12 days in Benin, Togo, Ghana, and then from Accra, flew to São Tomé, and as Philippe said, you have to overnight because of when the plane gets in. So we spent the first night there at Omali, and the next morning flew to Principe for our 3 nights there. When we flew back, the way that the flight connected, because we were going to go back to Accra, I wanted to spend more time in Accra. I could spend a long time in Accra. So the way that that flight leaves to go back, when we got to São Tomé, we basically then did an entire day tour. We traveled around the island. We went to a beautiful art gallery. We had lunch in this extraordinary hotel on the other side. So we spent the day seeing all of the things that we would want to see on São Tomé, made it back then to the airport for our flight. We took that TAP Portugal flight up to Accra, and then we got into Accra late in the evening, where we then just checked into our hotel and then carried on with our experience in Ghana. So I think that's also why, you know, you might just have that 1 night or 3 nights or more on Principe, is just because of the flights. Good, I was correct.
100%.
I never know, things change. So as of right now, I don't think that we have more questions, but I'm happy to, you know, just give it another second in case people do have other ones that they want to answer or ask. Okay, so here's another question. If people were going to spend longer, and you're saying something like 10 days on Principe, would you combine the different resorts?
Yes. Normally, we suggest people to combine Rosa and then to do a beach property. Normally Rosa and Sundy Praia, for example. To stay like 1 night, 2 nights minimum in Rosa, and then stay a few days in the beach for relaxing and enjoying the ocean.
And of course, you know, they're very different. If you're doing a larger tour, you know, I'm seeing some of the Q&A coming through, and I know that there are some people on here who have been working with TransAfrica to put together a larger tour that they'll host with many people. Depending on the size, if you are having a group, then for instance, Bom Bom might be better because it has more accommodation for more people. So it also very much depends on what the purpose of the trip is, if it's a couple, if it's a family, if it's a group, where there's going to be that availability.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you give, oh, okay, if Patty is at Bom Bom, okay, so if Patty is at Bom Bom, does the dive boat pick you up at Sundy Praia, or is there transport provided?
You got both. It can be either by car or by boat. So usually you're picked up by a boat and you go directly to the diving spot. So very convenient.
And we did that as well. We stayed at Sundy Praia and we saw the other two. And so Johan wanted to go fishing. Of course, he actually wanted to go diving as well, but we didn't have enough time for everything. And so where we were, the boat came over and picked us up. There's a very nice dock, you know, so we just kind of, we walked. You can also take the golf cart, went out to the dock, and the boat picked us up right there, and then away we went. Snorkel equipment at both resorts. Can you snorkel right off the beach, or do you need to be on a boat?
You can snorkel right off the beach. Yeah, definitely. On both properties at Sundy Praia and at Bom Bom.
Can you give general rack rate experiences or rack rate costs for the different properties?
Yeah, for sure. For you to have an idea, of course, you can always contact TransAfrica for prices. At Sundy Praia, the rack rate is around 900 euros for a couple per night in half-board basis. For Bom Bom, it's around 450, more or less. Rossa, 250, and O'Malley, 250 also, more or less. Just for you to have an idea. The domestic flight from São Tomé to Principe, the cost is also around 250 euros per person, if you buy in advance, of course.
Can you speak about cultural experiences that you can also have on the islands, especially if people are going to West Africa for culture?
Well, I think they can be one of the cultural experiences they can do. They can be they can be involved with for example, Fundação Príncipe, with the locals. Any other one, Philippe, that I'm not getting there?
One of the biggest festivities in August, the what do you call it? The Outflorip.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a 1 week festivity in the streets. It's quite amazing. Month of August, 15th of August, I think.
Yes, it is.
And it's a real cultural feast. So that's the biggest cultural event there is in Principe.
And it's a love story, always. You know, the boy loves the girl, but the father of the girl don't like the boy, so they have to fight to win the girl. It's a love story, but it's very nice because they have nice costumes, lots of colors there, and they have some fights on the streets. So yeah, it's nice.
It seems like there's nowhere else to go to have lunch, so wondering why rates are half board. Is it possible to get full board rates? Is any alcohol included in the rates? And then again, a question about are rates inclusive? So if you want to just give a little bit more of the detail as to what's included, why.
Yeah, our rate starts in half board because we normally try that the clients go out from the properties and discover the islands, you know. So most of the clients will spend the day doing a tour, and they will have lunch, for example, in the city. So that's why the rates start in half board. But of course we have full board, and they can book in full board. Starting next year, we'll have a drink package, so the clients can also book that drink package, and they will be they don't have to be worried about anything else.
And can you remind me, and this would be then I think a good question is, because I remember again staying at Sundy Praia, and so we were just billing things to our room. But if someone is doing a tour, or they are going to visit the Roca, for instance, say they went and they had a drink there, can you sign for food and beverage at other properties back to the one that you're actually staying at if you're doing one of the other properties on a day tour?
Yes, you can. You can have a dinner there, or have a drink and sign it, and you will pay it only on the hotel where you are.
And we did a tour of the island as well, and I do remember going through the town and seeing the old church and the harbor. So, you know, people do leave the resort to go out and see other parts of town, like you were saying, Claudia. And when we were on Sao Tome, same thing. We had lunch at a beautiful property on the other side of the island.
That's the whole idea, you know, for people to experience the islands.
So I'm not sure. I think we've answered all of the questions as of right now. We'll give it another minute and see if people think of something else. Making sure that I've answered everything as well. And if we don't end up having any additional questions, then I'll just take this time to say thank you so much. I've been really happy to see again the synergy and the relationship, because I think that it's such a beautiful way of ending a trip in West Africa. So I was really glad that we were all able to do this together. And again, that, you know, Claudia and Carlotta are going to get together soon. I'm sorry I'm not going to be there for that one. Oh, sorry. So we have a question, not clear on the tours in Principe. Do you want to speak maybe a little bit more about what the actual day experiences can be, both in Principe, and then if you want to touch on things in Sao Tome?
Well, in Sao Tome, normally the clients have like 4 tours. The most important tours is one to the north, one to the south, one to the east, one to the west. And the island is pretty much covered, you know? In Principe, we have a bit more. So we have like boat tours, to the Needle of Bay, for example. We have boat tours around the beach, the North Beach. We can do a full day tour around the island. We have cooking workshops. We have a tour to discover the plantations of coffee and chocolate. We have the hikes in the Biosphere Reserve. We have hikes like for 1 hour or for 7 hours. It all depends of how fit is the guest, you know. Of course, we have the wellness center there if the client wants something more relaxed. What else? We have the diving, we have the bird watching.
Can I actually, something came to mind that I'm going to jump in with, and that's quite often there are people going to different countries in West Africa because they are interested in the slave history. And so, you know, the whole diaspora, the retracing of the roots, the heritage tour, and understanding what happened with the slave trade from West Africa. And so when we were on Sao Tome, again, I mean, you have to understand, I mean, these islands do have a little bit of that history as well. And so we were seeing the plantations, we were seeing the old buildings, we were seeing some of the more historical elements of that slave trade. And that's, for me, a part of why that tie-in with, for instance, I mean, I loved what we experienced and what we learned about in Benin and Ghana specifically, or in Senegal. So if that's a part of the kind of theme of a trip that is being put together, then you also do have that more historical context on the islands too. More so on Sao Tome was my experience.
Yeah, for sure. We can organize that. We can do a tailor-made package with a special team, and to develop some tours around that, of course. Even in Principe, we have other plantations, and we have the history of slavery there also.
How tourist friendly are the locals? We take a lot of photographers on tour, and we're wondering how receptive the people are to being photographed.
Philippe, do you want to reply to this one?
It's an interesting question because they are very receptive. So, you know, they definitely want to take a selfie with you and after see it on the phone, you know. But we also try to avoid that in the sense that, you know, we don't want to showcase too much this image of taking a picture with a, you know, little African child, you know. So we kind of respect that and tell the guests, you know, just be careful. The same way we don't want the guests to go and, you know, give them some sweets and stuff like that because there's hardly any dentist on the island. Once a year, we bring some dentists from Portugal to be able to check the people, and it's like they're there for a month and people are queuing up just to be able to check their teeth. So we kind of do, you know, we're cautious with that. We're cautious with that, you know.
I'm glad that I mentioned what I did because there's a comment coming in from someone who I know has a lot of experience with this, and she said, good to know that we can see the sites that are related to slavery. Sao Tome was one of the biggest slave traders in the 16th and the 17th century. So yeah, there's definitely a history there. And again, another reason why it's interesting to combine all of these different countries.
And you can see, you know, the testimony is there. You see all these plantation house, which most of them are totally derelict. You know, you can visit them. You know, the one of the biggest one is Porto Real in Principe. But you know, our idea was try to these plantation house. That's what we did at Rosso. Is try to give them a new life. You know, and really focusing on agriculture, on cacao, on vanilla, on pepper, just to give a new dynamic or dynamism to the economy there as well, you know. So, you know, before it was only based on the cacao trade and the slave trade, but now it's really opening up to different kind of products. And right now, you know, you can find some amazing vanilla in Harrods, you know, coming from Principe, and suddenly it's on the map in terms of quality products, you know. And this is what we think is wonderful about the island.
Is there ever a possibility for people to visit a local home and enjoy a meal, a day with a family, to actually interact more with locals on the islands?
In Rossa, for example, we have there it's very, very common to go there, and we have like a local restaurant there. It's not really a restaurant, you know, because the girl there, she cooks for the friends and invite people over. So yeah, for sure. And it's very nice because normally she cooks fresh fish and some bananas, and that's it. But it's very, very the taste is so good there, you know. And you are there with the family, sharing the table. So yeah, it's a very nice experience indeed.
We often go there. It's like our little canteen, you know. When we don't want to be in a hotel, we go there. She's called Shada, and her daughter works for us in the hotel. She's a housekeeper, and as Claudia said, the experience is just wonderful, very fresh, very good, quite spicy, but absolutely delicious.
Do you have an idea of how much it is to rent a car with a driver? Can you get a minibus? Can you speak about what the transport would be like for people? I think especially on Sao Tome, since on Principe, you have your own vehicles.
Yeah, in Sao Tome, people can rent a car. The only piece of advice that we have to give to the people, they have to choose wisely the place where they rent the car, because there are lots of alternative rent-a-cars there, you know, that are not legal rent-a-cars. So sometimes can be a bit of surprise, but around 80 euros per day, more or less. I think it's normal to rent a car there with driver.
Do you know about any music bars in town if people were staying at any of the properties and they wanted to go out and listen to music?
Well, we have some music in our properties some days of the week. In Sundy Praia, for example, and the Rossa Sundy, we have local performance going there and playing for the guests during dinner. And in the city, of course, they have some discos and some bars. not much, but yeah, and very simple, but it's an experience, of course. And in Tome also, they have local bars with music.
The head of the turtle protection program, the small guy called Alton, he's an amazing musician, and he plays every week in our properties. Very good singer, very good guitar player. So we really always try to showcase, you know, the local artists in the properties.
And I don't know why Kalima was there when we were there, but the same way that I always say with TransAfrica and something in West Africa, to let us know generally what you're interested in. If you want music and we want to then build an itinerary around a music festival, or you're interested in art and we're going to build something around that, it would be the same thing. We can speak to Claudia and Philippe and we can figure out, is there a concert? Is there a festival? What's going on that an itinerary or your time there should be built around? I mean, I think mine was just complete dumb luck. And quite actually, we were sitting in the airport and I saw a poster, and then I saw these guys and I was like, it's the same thing. And then I went up and I started talking to them, and we're now friends, but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't see that poster of them. So I don't know why they were there then. All right, so again, as of right now, we're kind of down to no questions, and we've hit the hour. So if anyone does have any extra questions, we're happy to answer them. I'll just give that one more second, and if anybody has anything that they want to add, please go for it.
We'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you, Brooke. It's been great, and thank you, Carlota. I hope that the audience enjoyed it, and I hope that they'll be able to discover Saint-Tropez and Principe on their next vacation. It is, as Claudia said, it's an incredible destination, one of a kind. The people are just so friendly there. That's what, you know, most of our guests, that's what they talk about, is the friendliness of the people. They're really genuine. It hasn't been spoiled by tourism because it's not a mass destination. So, you know, you really feel that quality and that authenticity as a destination. And the fact that it's totally unspoiled and pristine.
The time there, it's different, you know. It passes more, not so quickly. We have time. We have time to be with the people. We have time to talk with them, to learn from them. So, yeah, you know, this is not the kind of destination for the clients that are looking for shopping malls or for clubs like Ibiza or Mykonos. It's completely the opposite, you know. It's for just to reconnect with ourselves, with nature, and to discover again the important things of life, you know. That's most of the times are the simple things are the more important, you know, and sometimes we forget about that.
They've got this motto which is called Lev Lev, which is the closest translation would be take it easy, you know, and that's what
Slowly,
I say,
slowly.
you know, slowly, you know, take it easy, and
Yeah.
it's real, it's part of their DNA.
Yeah, they live for today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
yeah,
we'll see. The important is today, you know, and I think it's a nice philosophy to live by, you know.
I agree. I think that's a fantastic place then to stop. So I'm going to say thank you again very much to everyone, and take it day by day.
Yeah. Thank you, Brooke and Carlota. Thank you so much.